I thought everybody's grandparents lived on a farm and had a big old house with no electricity. Then when I brought my sons out here, and they said, "Mom, why haven't you talked about this?" It was part of our lives, it was part of our family, but it wasn't something that we talked about as being special. It was a home place. It's been over the last decade or so, increasingly, I've been aware of how rare it is, particularly to have a place of this size, as close to downtown as it is, and a place where people can drive through that gate, and all of a sudden you're on a farm, and you can just feel your blood pressure go down.
The Frist Foundation is dedicated to serving the broader community, really all of Nashville and Middle Tennessee, to help preserve community assets so that they can be enjoyed by everyone. The foundation saw the value and just in the symbolism of the staff moving physically to Glen Leven Farm, and I think the master planning effort is really the next step in the evolution of that, in living and breathing the mission of the Land Trust every day.
When this idea of acquiring Glen Levin first came up for the Land Trust, I was skeptical. Liz was very adamant about how important this was, and I have to say, thankfully, she was right and I was wrong about that. What I learned was that in addition to just preserving land and open spaces, preserving the culture and the cultural context of that land can be equally important and really should be a part of the Land Trust mission.
This was the right time for us to undertake a comprehensive landscape plan for this incredible place. And we need people to invest in this plan, to preserve something and really bring it to life.
My name is Thomas Woltz. I'm the owner and principal of Nelson Byrd Woltz Landscape Architects. We began the process of the comprehensive landscape plan with a cultural landscape synthesis. Everything has a story to tell. It's the geology that attracted First Nations peoples or the indigenous peoples to the Nashville Basin. Colonial settlement brought agriculture at a bigger scale, which in turn brought the enslavement of Africans to work on these lands. This was also a landscape of war. The Civil War unfolded on this very site. After the Civil War, there was the Great Depression, there was the industrialization of the region, and really the last chapter of the cultural landscape synthesis is the remarkable transition from a private estate into the hands of the Land Trust for Tennessee. With this cultural landscape synthesis in place, we began to pull the deep threads of authentic narratives that belong only to this site.
The email stated, we're working with the Land Trust, and we've been looking up ancestors, and we think that you are the descendant of Nancy Dupree. I said, you gotta be kidding me. My great-great-grandmother, she worked on this property as in those days she was called the Black Mammy. So she had the opportunity to have exchange and interaction with the children. She took care of the children. And I thought, this is the best gift that I could ever have in my lifetime.
Once we had these threads of narratives established, we then developed the actual design of the comprehensive landscape plan. This is reimagining uses of historic structures for new kinds of educational facilities, events, management and maintenance of the landscape, as well as demonstrations of best management practices for conservation of land in general, as something essential to the future health of our country.
It's not meant to be this standalone living historical document. It's meant to enliven the property so that we get to experience it every day as visitors. Nashville needs to support, embrace, and recognize this property tells the story of Nashville.
The work here could inspire a generation to come and the generation after to greater and deeper awareness of landscape stewardship and its importance to all of us on this planet.